Okay.
They might look at you and say, you know what, I want to be where Rodney is. I think I'm funny. I think I could do that. So when did you find out that you were a comedian, that you had what it took to follow your dream and do what you're doing?
Well, you know, that's kind of a loaded question for me, because there are a couple of different times that I knew. I knew as a little kid, second grade, when I had my teacher, Mr. Thompson, that would let me perform at the end of class. Because I had all this energy I would exert during the day, and he found that when he gave me that opportunity to play at the end of class, that I acted better throughout the day.
Can we stop for a second? Because there's some teachers that are watching this, and they're going, I have a Rodney in my class.
Yes.
So are you suggesting to teachers to somehow provide opportunities for students that are like you to, what would you say to teachers that have?
I would definitely say to those teachers, be Mr. Thompson. I mean, recognize, you know, that this guy is not a bad kid, but they just have all this balled up energy, and they want to play, but they are still, you know, pretty good students. And so I think he saw that in me. He saw that I was a pretty decent student, but I just needed to get that out. And so he gave me an avenue to get that out. I still didn't know what it was, though. I mean, you know, as you go through this life, you have different talents, but a lot of times you don't know how to apply those talents. So I didn't really know how to apply. I didn't know what it was. You know, I would listen to records like Richard Pryor and all that stuff, but it wasn't until I found Eddie Murphy that I was able to really identify what it was, which was another opportunity for me to go, that's it. That was another aha moment. And so I knew that what he was is what, some semblance of that is what I wanted to be. And so, you know, but then it would still be years later before I would become a professional comedian. So it was.
What did you do during middle and high school? Once you said you recognized that you had the talent, how can you hone that while you're in middle and high school?
Well, the answer for me and what the answer would be for a middle or high school student now is probably very different. For me, I MC talent shows. I was in the drama club, and I would do stuff like that. I played football, but you know, I would dance every chance I got. You know, and I would do all of those little things that would put me in front of people. You know, so because I knew I didn't know everything, but I knew I wanted to be in front of the crowd. I needed that thing fulfilled that is nowadays. These young kids now, with the advent of the internet and the ability to record stuff with your phones and your iPods and your iPhones, you can make a little movie, or you can do your own TV show, or you can do your own radio show. You got Blog Talk Radio where people do their own radio show for free. So there is no excuse for the budding entertainer that you know, when to find your audience, because there are some guys out there that make a lot of money. You can make little movies. You can get a camera like we have right here and make you a film.
This
you know,
good advice.
There's so much you can do with the internet. Is opening up the world to all of us. So you know, your loose network of friends that you play with on Twitter, that you play with on Facebook, that you play with on AIM, that you aim all your IM people. Start shooting them little videos of you doing silly stuff. Who knows? You could be the next Tyler Perry or Rodney Perry.
That's right. Rodney Perry, yeah. So how did you break into the professional world of comedian world? Like, how did that transition happen?
Well, like I said, I knew I wanted to be a comedian. I got out of high school, and I packed up my stuff and told my mother I was moving to Chicago, which is my hometown. And we were living in Monroe, Louisiana. And I went to Chicago, but I still didn't know what it was. I still didn't know, like, I didn't know you should go to a comedy club and just be there and just, you know, kind of experience. I didn't know you could go and get in the open mics. I didn't know what that was. So I went to Chicago, and I was kind of at a loss. And I remember it was during the time Robin Harris, and for those of you who don't know, Robin Harris was a great comedian who we lost. And Robin Harris was in Chicago at a theater like not far from my grandmother's house. I heard on the radio. And I took the bus down to the theater, had no ticket. I just stood outside the theater and listened to him.
Wow.
And he was like, he was incredible. I remember just huge, bellows of laughter.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude is incredible. And I jumped on the bus and went back home, and we'll find out the next day that would be his last performance. He passed that night.
Wow.
And so it was like a turning point like that really made me go, you know what, I'm gonna do this stand-up comedy thing. And it was still, I was still performing. I was in the Navy.
Okay.
I joined the Navy. I was on active duty in the Navy.
Right.
And so the years that would have been my college years, my oldest daughter had been born, and I spent those years in the Navy, and that was great for me. I was in New Orleans. New Orleans was a great comedy town. We learned a lot. I became a part of a comedy team. Myself and my best friend Harry, we were Ratch and Rod Comedy Explosion.
Yeah. Did you come up with that name?
It was his name and my name, Ratch and Rod. Harry Ratchford, Rodney Perry, Ratch and Rod Comedy Explosion, and we was wild. Oh God, we was so young and funny and silly, and being a part of that team kind of helped me find myself as an individual. And so when it was time for us to kind of part ways because of the military, he gave me the confidence to really branch out and do it myself. And I took orders to California, and this is how dumb I was. I took orders to California. I didn't know that the Bay Area wasn't close to LA.
Wow.
So please listen in geography.
You hear that, right?
On the map, this far on the map is 2 hours worth of driving. This far is like 5 hours worth of driving. So I didn't really think of it that way. All I knew is I needed to be in California. So I took the orders in California, and I spent 4 years there. I spent 8 years in the military, 4 in New Orleans, 4 in the Bay Area, and it got to be like 1998. And I was like, you know what, it's time for me to get this 100%. And I got out the military, and I moved to Los Angeles, and, just start really, banging it out. I got on Comic View, I booked my first movie in 2000.
So it all just started.
It began to happen. When you see anybody that's seeming to be an overnight success, no, they're probably 20 years or so in the making. Yeah.
I like that you're saying that, because some students that want to be in the entertainment world, they feel like it's going to happen overnight. They're just going to move to LA and all of a sudden they're just going to make it big. Or
this is the reality. There's somebody getting off the I'm going to make it bus every day. Somebody has the same dreams, hopes, and desires that you do. And that's not to diminish your dreams, hopes, and desires, but you got to understand something about this industry. It's supposed to look easy. When you see a guy on TV, when you see a guy on film or a movie or any of those things on the radio, you listen to it, I can do that. You're supposed to say that. The people that you're listening to are that good that they make you go, I can do that. So that's a great way to kind of look at it. So don't stop your believing in yourself or your perseverance, but understand that there is nothing without a lot of hard work. So it takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness. What I would say to the students, and this is probably one of my only regrets, and I enjoy my life and I enjoy where I am, but I wish I had finished college.
Okay.
And I wish I had taken that road, and I went to college for like a year, and my daughter was born, like I told you, and I was at a crossroads where I felt like I had to take care of mine.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons I chose to go to the Navy. But if I had to do it again, I know I would have been able to take care of her and still have gotten that degree. If not for my mother or anything like that, but for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of the things. And I still may do it. There was a time when I said I'll never go back to college. But as I get a little older, I'll be 40 this year. I'm really considering, going back and getting that degree. So, it's never too late. My mother got her bachelor's and her master's, after she was 50. So,
wow.
It's never too late. So I'm looking very seriously at pursuing my bachelor's degree,
awesome.
In the near future.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And what area might you study when you go
probably
back?
Business. Probably business. what people don't tell you when you look at somebody in show business, that show is a very small part of what we do. The business of it is really a gargantuan thing that you are set to conquer, and the business is what separates people from being really great and not so great. So I just want to, as I manage my own career as a comedian, I want to understand the business. I'll probably hire people and bring them on board to do certain things, but I like to know when somebody is BSing me.
Right.
So I like to know my business. So, you can tell me, Rodney, this is the best thing to do, and then I like to know for myself that that's the best thing.
And it's funny because our motto here is need more knowledge, step into college. So if there's any area that an adult or a student wants to learn more about, then that's an opportunity to pursue education.
Absolutely.
But
and pursuing education is constant. Like there's always something you don't know.
Right.
So make it your daily mission, whether it be through academics or going on the internet, or this is the age of information. There is so much information that's at your fingertips. When I needed information as a kid, I had to go to Encyclopedia Britannica, and hopefully I would flip through after hours and hours and find it. But now if you have an inkling of what that is, you can search it, and Wikipedia will pull this thing up, and you'll have all the information you need on that subject. So this is the age of information. You guys have more of an opportunity than us old folks ever had.
Well, I know we only have a few minutes left, and before we go, what would be your one bit of advice to any student that's watching that really wants to be in the entertainment field and be a comedian? What's that one thing that you would say to them?
There is no substitution for hard work. Some people will see, myself or Mike Epps or Cat Williams, and like I said, you'll think they're overnight success, but life has a way of coming back to bite you. So you can't circumvent life. Like, people have become a comedian trying to avoid life, but you can't avoid life. You may go through this comedy road, but you'll have to learn business.
Right.
You're gonna spend 4 or 5 years or 10 years in higher education, whether you like it or not. Whether it's in college or whether it's on the streets. You're gonna spend 4, 5, 10 years getting your bachelor's and your master's. Now, whether that be in real life or whether that be in a college, it's up to you. I say, don't do what I did. Take my advice and get your degree, and it'll afford you the opportunity to do some great things in this life. Or you can do what I did and get rich another way.
And there's nothing wrong, though, with having a backup plan, which might include education. It's not that some students think, if I want to be an actor, I'm just going to go and be an actor and I'm not going to go to school. Why can't they do both?
And absolutely, and it's very imperative that you study your craft, whatever that is.
Right.
And so you have to make that your business. And I made, knowing the ins and outs of comedy my business, but at the same time, not even as a backup plan, but more as a plan A. I wish I had that plan A in place. But life is life, and you live it, and you don't get a chance to do it over. So you just gotta, you gotta live with your decisions, and I live with mine, and I'm happy, where I am right now.
Okay, well, before you go, tell us about new projects that we need to look out for. You know what you're doing now.
Of course, we're here. This is my trailer at the Monique show. We're currently shooting, and we just got picked up for a second season. So that will be coming back in the fall. Yes, that's a big deal. And I've done a couple of episodes of Meet the Browns, so that'll be coming on. They shoot right here in Atlanta as well. It looks like I may have like 2 films this summer. Wow. So really can't give like details on that, only because I haven't signed anything yet. So once we lock that in, you guys will be hearing about that. I'll send you an update or something like that. And
good.
Other than that, my blog talk radio show, I'm going to pick back up when we go on hiatus here. So I'm going to be doing some great interviews